Shan, why? This is a story from the book SHANanigans by Shannon Ray Provost, narrated by Shannon Ray Provost. Sitting at a table with an Army National Guard recruiter directly across from me and my mother to the right of me, I had a big decision to make. Being a 17-year-old junior in high school, living in Michigan at the time, and thinking of my future plans was all new to me. The future? What does this even mean? When I think of the word future, I imagine a young Michael J. Fox and the obnoxious older gentleman with Don King hair driving around in that gray space car thing. I think it's so far away, and who even knows how long I will live. Perhaps joining the Army will shorten my life even. After the recruiter covered all the information and it was almost time to decide to sign my life away to the U.S. government, he asked me if I had any questions. The only question that came to my mind after listening for over an hour of words coming out of his mouth that started to sound like Charlie Brown's mother was, will I have to shower with other girls? Keep in mind I was young. I had a six-pack stomach, a perfectly sized bubble butt, and no cellulite to be seen even in the sun. However, I was insecure to be naked around other people aside from my boyfriend at the time. I would be naked around him any time, and we pretty much were. Oh, teenage love, how I miss those days. The answer to my question was yes. You would have to shower with other girls. Living quarters would be very close and there would be limited privacy. I slept on it all, and then the next evening, I signed a 6-year contract. The summer after my junior year of high school, I was shipped off to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri for basic training. Upon arrival, I was stuffed into a cattle cart like a can of sardines with total strangers the same age as me, wearing relatable expressions on their faces showing deep regret. Grown men and women referred to as drill sergeants wore Smokey the Bear hats, sharp uniforms, sparkling clean boots, and used their loudest voice decibels while being face-to-face with us and throwing all of our luggage we brought around the cattle cart. Nothing we brought were our possessions any further. We would be assigned uniforms and everyone would have the same inventory of necessities. Moving forward, my name was Private Provost. No one was called by their first names, and Private was our new title. I grew up with a stepfather who taught me what anger and unhappiness looked like, and I wanted to get so far away from that type of environment. Yet, I now had over 20 stepfathers in charge of my well-being for the next couple of months. This was the first time I asked myself, Shan, why did you join the damn Army? As the weeks went on, the structure was intact and I had the Army routine figured out. Everything was a game, and it was only temporary chaos. The girls stayed in an all-girls barrack, and the boys stayed in an all-boys barrack. Aside from sleeping, showering, and using the bathrooms, we all spent the rest of our hours together. Waking up at the ass crack of dawn to the drill sergeant screaming for us to get out of our bunk beds, make those same bunk beds as tight as a sheet and a blanket can squeeze around a twin mattress, and usually having to remake the bunk bed over and over because nothing was good enough for the drill sergeants. We had a strict schedule of physical training, cleaning our M16 rifles, marching and singing cadences, chores, barely sleeping, never enjoying a meal, classes, falling asleep in classes, doing push-ups because we would fall asleep in classes, being humiliated in front of everyone else for any reasons the drill sergeants would think of, shooting our rifles at the shooting range, shining our boots, and showing up for countless formations. Anytime a private wanted to speak to a drill sergeant, we had to address them first loudly saying, Drill Sergeant! Example, Private, Drill Sergeant! Private Provost requests permission to speak. Drill Sergeant, Speak! Private, Drill Sergeant! I feel like I am going to barf and I want to go home. Drill Sergeant, Drink water, Private! The solution for everything in the Army was, drink water. Someone would say, Drill Sergeant, I don't think I can march any further. Drink water, Private. Or Drill Sergeant, I'm seeing 3 of you, and I don't think I can run any further. Drink water, Private. Not to toot my own horn, but I never broke down when it came to being yelled at or tortured with physical fitness. I was in the best shape of my life, and I was used to being yelled at often. performing endless push-ups, jumping jacks, sit-ups, other calisthenics, and running faster than some of the boys even. A few privates puked, passed out, or cried. Some were even sent home because they couldn't hack it. I ended up being one of the only females in my company to receive a physical training patch at the end of our basic training graduation. Let's not discuss how out of shape my body is now 20 years later, though. Eating at the mess hall, also known as the cafeteria, was never pleasant. We had no time to eat and no time to think of what we wanted to eat. It was an assembly line of different foods with different drill sergeants watching over us with eagle eyes, making sure we didn't talk or make eye contact with anyone else, including them. There was a designated area called the no-fly zone, and this was where the drill sergeants would eat. None of the privates were allowed to pass through this zone. One day I was so lethargic and hangry that I didn't realize I walked through the no-fly zone. I was immediately reminded of my mistake. "Private Provost, get your ass over here. You don't get to eat until everyone else is done eating. Go walk around the mess hall as if you are a fucking semi-truck and repeat the words beep, beep, beep while holding your tray full of food and straight out in front of you. Do not touch that food until given permission." I obeyed their command and did as they requested while they yelled at me to beep, 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 louder. The other privates sitting at the mess hall tables were desperately trying not to laugh. Anyone caught laughing would have to join me. After about 3 straight minutes of this humiliating act, I had a train of other beepers behind me due to their failed attempts at not laughing at me. Think of a wedding reception and people dancing in a train formation to the song "Come On Ride the Train" by Quad City DJs, but instead it's a handful of teenagers in military uniforms holding cafeteria food trays in front of their bodies screaming beep, beep, beep very loudly. This was the second time I asked myself, "Shan, why did you join the damn army?" After surviving the summer months of basic training, I returned back to Michigan to finish my senior year of high school. The following summer, I was sent off to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, once again for my second part of training. I was training to be a bridge-building combat engineer. In a nutshell, this job entailed driving large military vehicles equipped with heavy metal bridging pieces that were assembled quickly during times a large body of water needed to be crossed. The second part of the training was a repeat of basic training, but way less intense, and it involved more classes that taught us our jobs and practicing our jobs. I recall being 18 years old, sitting at a picnic table, taking a lunch break in Missouri with my fellow battle buddies when our drill sergeants informed us that our country was under attack. It was attacked by terrorists. It was September 11, 2001, and New York was up in flames. I felt sudden shock and fear when I realized some actual terrorists wanted to kill Americans, and also that I could get deployed internationally, not just nationally. I genuinely thought that wars only happened in history books, and being a member of the National Guard would keep me safe by guarding only the nation. I considered the military experience to be only for preparation if something bad enough were to ever happen, and not living to see something bad enough happen. Well, shit. Shit was bad, and it was happening. This was the third time I asked myself, "Shan, why did you join the damn army?" In March of 2003, I was 20 years old. I was living in a cute apartment right by Lake Superior in Marquette, Michigan. I was young, free, wild, and in love with my life. I was about to head down and walk to the snowy beach with my friends when I received a call from Uncle Sam's secretary stating I had 2 weeks before I would be sent to fight in a war in Iraq and Kuwait, that I had no idea why we were even fighting. None of us ever truly know why the hell countries are always at war and killing one another. Having first-hand experience with this disgusting act of humanity, it felt as though military people are just pawns to the government's chessboard of kings calling the shots. Pun intended. Queens are the most powerful piece in a game of chess. Perhaps the world wouldn't be so messy if we put the queens in charge. This was the fourth time I asked myself, "Shan, why did you join the damn army?" I won't be going into details regarding my deployment during the Operation Iraqi Freedom War. I will leave you with a few shan-splaining topics regarding my experience, though. In my opinion, war and the military in general should not be glamorized. When we break it down to why we have to have a military, it is very disturbing. If you don't already know this, please do not ask someone who just returned home from a war, "Did you kill anyone?" I wish there was no need for a military and world peace was something that always existed. Unfortunately, this has not been and is still not the case. I was honorably discharged shortly after returning home from Iraq and Kuwait, and my Army days are permanently over. The 6 years I was not in charge of my life were entertaining, scary, and bittersweet. I am tremendously grateful for coming home alive with all of my limbs and also receiving my full veteran benefits. Many people were not so lucky. For an individual like myself who somehow found the discipline to follow authority for 6 whole years, I remain a free-spirited rule breaker today. I often have to laugh when I still don't know the answer to, "Shan, why did you join the damn army?"